Russia's latest massive attack on Ukraine lasted over 12 hours. The criminal regime launched nearly 500,000 drones. Among the victims of the attack was a 12-year-old girl. The attack took place at the end of a week in which representatives of UN countries attempted to hold talks on ending the conflict. This is all that remains of a residential neighborhood in the suburbs of Kiev. We were asleep when the first missile struck, and after about 30 seconds, the second one fell there. These were not random strikes, but a cynically planned attack. Unlike drones, maneuverable missiles are much more precise. I woke up and went to the front door. At that moment, I was hit by a wave of explosions. Meanwhile, my boyfriend and my child were still asleep in bed. It was too late. The waves of airstrikes lasted 12 hours. It is clear to Ukrainians that the statements made by Russian diplomats in recent days are empty platitudes.
More than 300 people, I'm talking just about civilians, 300 civilians killed in our hometown from beginning the war, almost 30 children. It's a tricky game. I don't believe the Russians want to stop this war because the main goal of Putin to rebuild Russian empire.
The United Nations, which was established 80 years ago to safeguard peace, has become a platform for expressing any, even the most absurd tirades. Today, it gives a voice to aggressors and respects their opposition when attempting to pass resolutions. Considering what is happening in Ukraine, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, it is difficult to disagree with the criticism of some politicians who have spoken very bluntly about the UN in recent days.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal.
The American president was echoed by his French counterpart, who stated unequivocally that the UN's mission today is nothing but a fiction.
Alors ne nous mentons pas.
Let's not kid ourselves. This 80th anniversary is not a celebration. Armed conflicts are multiplying, both internal and international, between states or caused by criminal and terrorist activities. And the parties to the conflict deliberately disregard the Geneva Conventions, as if horror served revenge and terror brought victory. Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, Haiti, Myanmar, the Democratic Republic of Congo. The list of violence experienced by the populations of these war-torn territories is long and unbearable. The UN is present in these places, usually as humanitarian aid, rarely as a stabilization mission, and even then it lacks the strength and resources to actually stop the terror. Sometimes it doesn't even have the mandate to do so, because the consent of all members of the Security Council is required to pass a resolution and send a mission. Today, when beautiful words are spoken about security, peace, cooperation, important and fundamental issues, I cannot help but notice that, ladies and gentlemen, there is a full-scale war going on around us, and people are dying every day. So my position on the effectiveness of the words spoken at the UN General Assembly is far from optimistic. It is worth recalling here that it was during an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council that Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine. It was then that the Russian ambassador was spouting nonsense about the de-escalation. At the same time, the Ukrainian representative received confirmation of Putin's declaration of war, and during his speech, the first Russian missiles fell on Ukrainian cities.